Part 1. By the time I turned 24, I had stopped introducing myself as the eldest daughter. I simply said I was helping my family. It sounded better than the truth. The truth was that I had spent most of my life raising my younger siblings while my parents treated me more like unpaid staff than their child. Every morning started at 5 a.m. I cooked breakfast, packed lunches, dropped my brother and sister off at school, cleaned the house, worked an 8-hour shift at a grocery store, then came home to cook dinner, do laundry, and help with homework. If I ever sat down for 10 minutes, my mother would call from the couch. Emma. Yes, Mom. The dishes aren't going to wash themselves. My father never stopped her. In fact, he usually added another chore. Don't forget to mow the lawn before it gets dark. Meanwhile, my younger brother Tyler spent his evenings playing video games. My sister Chloe went out with friends whenever she wanted. Whenever I complained, my parents had the same answer. Family helps family. What they really meant was, Emma helps everyone. No one helped Emma. When I was accepted into nursing school, I cried with happiness. My mother didn't. She looked irritated. Who's going to watch your brother? I'll figure something out. No. She folded the acceptance letter and slid it back across the table. You don't need college. We need you here. My father nodded without looking up from the television. Education is expensive. But Tyler starts college next year. I stared at him. So you'll pay for his? Of course. What about mine? Silence. Then my mother shrugged. You're more useful here. That night I tore up my enrollment forms. Not because I wanted to. Because I believed I had no choice. 3 years later, Tyler graduated from college. My parents threw him a huge celebration. During dinner, my father raised his glass. We are proud of our son. Everyone applauded. No one mentioned that I had worked overtime for years helping pay his tuition. After the guests left, I quietly washed dishes alone. Grandma Evelyn walked into the kitchen. She placed a gentle hand on my shoulder. You deserve better. I smiled weakly. It's fine. She looked me straight in the eyes. No. It isn't. She slipped a small business card into my apron pocket. If you ever decide you're done being treated like a servant, call the number on the back. I thanked her but never looked at it. 6 months later, Grandma passed away. The only person who had ever truly seen me was gone. Life continued exactly the same. Until one afternoon, Tyler announced he was getting married. The whole family exploded with excitement. My mother immediately pointed at me. You'll handle the decorations. My father added. And the catering. And the seating chart. And the invitations. Tyler laughed. Emma always figures everything out. For 3 exhausting months, I planned nearly every detail of the wedding. No one offered to pay me. No one even thanked me. On the wedding day, I arrived before sunrise to decorate the venue. By noon, everything was perfect. As guests began arriving, my mother pulled me aside. You'll be eating in the kitchen. I blinked. What? The family table is full. I looked toward the reception hall. There were 2 empty chairs. One had my cousin's purse on it. The other held flowers. You don't need to sit with us. She adjusted her necklace. Someone has to help the waitstaff. I stood there in complete silence. Still wearing the dress I had bought with my own money. Still carrying the tray of champagne glasses. Just then, the bride's father walked into the room. He stopped. Looked directly at me. Then at my parents. His expression slowly changed. He quietly asked. Excuse me. Why is the woman who planned this entire wedding being treated like hired help? The room fell completely silent. The music faded as conversation stopped. Every guest turned toward the bride's father, Richard Lawson. My mother forced a smile. Oh, it's just how Emma likes to help. Richard looked at me. Is that true? For the first time in years, someone had asked me instead of answering for me. I quietly shook my head. No. The room became even quieter. My father stepped forward. This is a family matter. Richard nodded calmly. It became my concern the moment I watched your daughter serve food while everyone else celebrated. He turned to me again. Were you paid for organizing this wedding? I smiled sadly. No. Were you thanked? I didn't answer. I didn't need to. The silence said enough. Just then, the bride, Sarah, walked over, still holding her bouquet. She looked confused. What's going on? Her father pointed gently toward me. Who planned your wedding? Sarah smiled. Emma did. She's amazing. And who was supposed to sit at the family table? Emma, of course. She looked around. Where's her seat? No one answered. Sarah's expression slowly changed as she realized what had happened. She looked at my mother. You removed her. My mother shrugged. There wasn't enough room. Sarah glanced at the two empty chairs still sitting untouched. There was room. The guests began whispering. Tyler finally stepped forward. Mom. She interrupted him. Don't start. Richard reached into the inside pocket of his suit jacket and pulled out a folded envelope. I wasn't planning to do this today. He handed it to me. I frowned. What is it? A letter from your grandmother. My heart skipped a beat. Grandma Evelyn. He nodded. I've known your grandmother for over 20 years through our charity board. 2 months before she passed away, she asked me to keep this until I witnessed one thing. I looked down at the envelope. Across the front, in Grandma's familiar handwriting, were the words. For Emma, when they finally show everyone who they are. My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside was a letter. My precious Emma. If you're reading this, then my greatest fear came true. Tears blurred my vision. You spent your life serving people who confused your kindness with obligation. The room was silent except for my voice as I continued reading. I prayed they would someday recognize your worth. If they didn't, I wanted someone else to make sure you did. Richard quietly placed another folder in my hands. I was also asked to give you this. Inside were legal documents. Grandma had quietly established a trust years earlier. Not millions. Not a fortune. But enough to change a life. The trust would pay for Emma's nursing degree, living expenses, and provide a down payment on her first home. At the bottom was Grandma's handwritten note. This is not a reward. It's the future you should never have been forced to give up. My mother gasped. You never told us about this. Richard looked at her. She asked me not to. Why? His answer was calm. Because she knew you would try to stop Emma from leaving. No one denied it. Sarah walked over, took my hand, and led me into the reception hall. She pulled out one of the empty chairs. This seat was always yours. The guests stood and applauded as I sat down. Not because I had organized the wedding. But because, for the first time in my life, someone insisted I be treated like family. A year later, I graduated from nursing school. Richard and Sarah were there. So were my former professors, friends, and neighbors. My parents came too. They sat quietly in the back. After the ceremony, my father approached me. I don't expect you to forgive us. I nodded. I know. But I'm proud of you. I smiled politely. Thank you. It was the first time he'd ever said those words. Later that afternoon, I visited Grandma Evelyn's grave. I placed my nursing cap beside the flowers and whispered. You kept your promise. A gentle breeze rustled the trees. For the first time, I didn't feel like the family servant. I felt like the woman my grandmother had always believed I could become. And I finally understood her greatest lesson. The people who truly love you don't measure your value by how much you do for them. They make sure you never have to earn a place at their table.